Ladies and gentlemen of excellent family, introduced under the most respectable conditions, in an atmosphere of elegance and refinement. Object? Matrimony? Unfortunately, I won't be able to offer my usual lightning service today, as I have a previous appointment in Yonkers, New York, arranging the second marriage of Mr. Horace Vandergelder, the well-known half-a-millionaire. As my late husband, Ephraim Levi, always said, that means he's got at least 60,000 cash. But I'll do my best to make sure you're across somebody's threshold before the week is out. Now, I might also mention I'm available for financial consultation, instruction in the guitar and mandolin, short distance hauling, and varicose veins reduced.
Come on, Dolly. She's the one the spinsters recommend. Just need the kind of man your sister wants.
artist myself, I do those little silhouettes with scissors and black paper. Here's one of Ada Rehan looking the other way. I have to do them like that because I'm no good at noses.
Mrs. Levi, the train for Yonkers leaves in 5 minutes, and if we don't get there in time...
But we will, Mr. Kemper. And not only will Horace Vandergelder give you permission to marry his niece Ermengarde, but he will dance at your wedding. And not alone either, because I happen to be engaged in finding him a suitable second wife himself. What he really wants is someone steady to clean the house. As my late husband Ephraim Levi always said, marriage is a bribe to make a housekeeper think she's a householder.
Well, I know all about it, Mrs. Levi. Half New York says he's going to propose to Mrs. Irene Malloy this very afternoon.
Which is why I'm on my way to Yonkers this morning, Mr. Kemper, and can take on your case and knock off 4 lovebirds with 1 stone, or whatever I'll throw. I'll see. Well, what do you think of that? I have nothing to pay my train fare with, just large bills, 5s and 7s.
Oh, I have some change here somewhere, Mrs. Levi. I only hope this isn't a wild goose chase.
Speaking of poultry, I'm also available for fresh Jersey eggs. Surgical corsets reboned, ears pierced, pierced ears replugged.
Tell me, Mrs. Levi, what's in all this for you?
A living, Mr. Kemper. Some people paint, some sew. I meddle. I have always been a woman who arranges things for the pleasure and the profit it derives. I have always been a woman who arranges things like furniture and daffodils and lives. When a man with a timid tongue meets a girl with a diffident air, why should the tortured creatures beat around the bush when heaven knows Mother Nature always needs a little push? So I put my hand in here, I put my hand in there, and a girl over 6'3" loves a man who comes up to her ear. Surely it's obvious she'll never be seduced. Some kind soul condescends to give her home a little boost. So I put my hand in there, I put my hand in here. I have always been a woman who arranges things. It's my duty to assist the Lord above. Always been a woman who arranges things like luncheon parties, poker games, and love. My aplomb and cosmetic art turned a front to a trump lady fair. She had a countenance a little bit like Scrooge. Oh, today who would swear the Lord himself applied the rouge? So I put my hand in there. going to marry Horace Vandergelder for his money. And I'm going to send it out circulating among the people like rainwater, like you taught me. And I want a sign from you sometime today that you approve. Won't be a marriage in the sense that we had one. But I shall certainly make him happy. And I'm tired, Ephraim. I'm tired of living from hand to mouth, so I want that sign.
Mrs. Levi!
Sometime today. Don't worry, Mr. Kempler. You'll make the train, we'll get to Yonkers, you'll marry Ermengarde. Just leave everything to me. For when my little pinky wiggles, some young maiden gets the giggles, then I make my knuckles acting mine. He says she's so attractive, then I move my index digit, and they both begin to fidget, and I clench my palm. The preacher reads a song when
Here, take this.
I'm not too young. 17. And in another year, I'll be an old maid.
Well, there to be an old maid, Ermengarde. I'll cut you off without a cent. And don't cry down here in the store.
I can't help it. I'm unhappy.
Well, then by thunder, you'll go and weep for a while in New York, where it won't be noticed. Now go upstairs and start packing your trunk. Don't get any tears on the doorknob, it's just been oiled. Willis, Barnaby!
You stamped, Mr. Vandergelder?
Yes, I did. I've got news for the both of you. This afternoon, I'm going to New York to march in the 14th Street Association Parade, and when I come back, you're going to have a mistress.
Well, I'm too young, Mr. Vandergelder.
Not you, hell and damnation, mine. I mean, I'm getting married again, and in honor of that occasion, I decided to promote you, Cornelius, to chief clerk.
What am I now, Mr. Vandergelder?
Well, you're an impertinent fool, is what you are, and I'm promoting you from impertinent fool to chief clerk. Any more questions?
Yes.
What?
Does the chief clerk get one evening off a week?
So this is how you repay me for your promotion, is it? No, you'll attend to the store as usual. Now get back to work. And don't forget to put the lid on the sheep dip. Evenings off? Marrying artists? A foolishness! 99% of the people in this world are fools. And the rest of us, we're in danger of contamination. Well, even I was young once, which was foolish. And I got married, too, which was foolish. And I was poor, which was more foolish than anything else. And then my wife died, which was foolish of her. And I grew older, which was very sensible of me. And now, I'm rich, friendless, and mean, which in Yonkers is about as far as you can get. Oh, I know what you're wondering. Why a man of so much good sense would do anything as foolish as get married again? Well, the answer's simple. This house without a woman would be an empty shell. And pretty dirty, too. It takes a woman all powdered in pink to joyously clean out the drain and the sink. And it takes an angel with long golden lashes and soft raisin fingers for dumping the ashes. Yes, it takes a woman, a dainty woman, a sweetheart, a mistress, a wife. Oh yes, it takes a woman, a fragile woman, to bring you the sweet things in life. shoeing the mare, and it takes a female for setting the table, and weaning the goinsey, and cleaning the stable. Yes, it takes a woman, a dainty woman, a sweetheart, a mistress, a wife. Oh yes, it takes a woman, a fragile woman, to bring you the sweet things in life. And so she'll work until infinity, 3 cheers for femininity. Rah, 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 F-E-M-I-T-Y. Get out of here! Shoot! Straight! Get out of here! Get out of here! And in the winter, she'll shovel the ice and lovingly set out the tracks for the mice. For she's a joy and treasure, for practically speaking, to whom can you turn when the plumbing is leaking? To that dainty woman, that fragile woman, that sweetheart, that mistress, that wife. Oh yes, it takes a woman, a husky woman, to bring you the sweet things in life. Oh yes, it takes a woman, a dainty woman, a sweetheart, a mistress, a wife. Oh yes, it takes a woman, a fragile woman, to bring you the sweet things in life.
Congratulations, 1,000 congratulations.
What?
Congratulations, Mr. Vandergelder. All New York is buzzing with the news that you practically proposed to Irene Malloy. The streets are lined with eligible young ladies prostrate with grief. Oh, my congratulations and sympathy.
Wait, sympathy?
Did I say that? A slip of the tongue, that's all. No, I'm delighted with the happy news. After all, she wasn't easy to unload. By that I mean you know what people said. Although I, for one, never believed the rumors. No, I didn't.
The rumors? What rumors?
Oh, nothing to get upset about, Mr. Vandergelder. I mean, according to all known facts, her first husband passed on quite naturally. Just he went so sudden. A few spoons of that chowder she made special for him, and... But it could happen to anyone. There's no truth in it. Just a word of advice, Mr. Vandergelder. Eat out.
Now, wait a second, Mrs. Levi. You mean to say that you think that Mrs. Malloy...
I mean to say nothing, Mr. Vandergelder. Just friendly advice. Keep away from the chowder. By the way, she's ordered her wedding gown. Beautiful. You should see it. Black. Well, as I said before, Mr. Vandergelder, congratulations on your forthcoming nuptials, and may you rest in... may guardian angels watch over you both, particularly at dinner.
Now, wait a second, Mrs. Levi. You're the one who introduced me to Mrs. Malloy, and rumors or not, I intend on calling on her this afternoon, as arranged.
Very well then, Mr. Vandergelder. Then there's nothing more for me to do but go back to New York and tell the other girl, the heiress, not to wait.
Wait, what did you say?
Nothing. A word. Heiress?
Particulars, Mrs. Levi. I demand particulars. Her name.
Money. Ernestina Money.
What a lovely, lovely name.
Picture, if you will, hair as shiny as a newly minted dime, eyes as big round as silver dollars, and skin as soft and mossy as an old greenback.
Oh, I can feel her now.
Age 19, weight 102, waist 47.
Waist 47.
That's with the money belt. Now, I could arrange for you to meet this Ernestina this very afternoon.
Well, I ain't got the time, Mrs. Levi. I have to bring my niece Ermengarde to New York until she forgets a certain Ambrose Kemper.
I could do that for you, Mr. Vandergelder. I know just how to handle such things.
Well, then I'm marching in the 14th Street Parade.
What a coincidence! Well, guess who's been chosen to ride on the main float? The spirit of 14th Street. Miss Money. Her mother was a cash, you know.
Well, all right. I'll meet this Miss Honey, but I still intend on paying Mrs. Malloy a visit first.
Dear, what races you make me run. Very well, Mr. Vandergelder. I'll meet you on the bench in front of Mrs. Malloy's hat shop at 2:30 as usual.
One more thing, Mrs. Levi. Suppose I decide against Mrs. Malloy and I don't like Miss Money either.
Well, then I do have one more name on my list, Mr. Vandergelder. Name I know as well as my own. But let's not get into that now. It'll come about by itself all in good time, don't you? Worry about that. Wait till you see Ernestino, Horace. A vision, a dream.
It takes a woman all powder and pink to joyously clean out the drain in the sink. And it takes an angel with long golden lashes and soft resin fingers for dumping the ashes.
Yes, it takes a woman. I'll have that room done over in blue wallpaper. Yes? In blue? Ermengarde, Ambrose, get on out here. We've got plans to make.
Chief clerk. Promoted from chief clerk to chief clerk. And if I'm good, in 10 years I'll be promoted to chief clerk again. 33 years old and I still don't get an evening free. When am I going to begin to live?
Well, you could live on holidays, Cornelius.
Did you forget what we did last Christmas? All those canned tomatoes went bad and exploded. And you and I cleaned up the mess all afternoon. Do you call that living? No. Barnaby, you and I are going to New York.
You mean close the store? Cornelius, we can't.
We'll have to. Some more rotten tomato cans are going to explode.
How do you know?
I'm gonna light this candle under them, that's how I know. They'll make such a smell customers won't be able to come into the place for 24 hours. That'll give us an evening off. We're going to New York, Barnaby. And we're gonna live. And we're gonna have a good meal. And we're gonna get in danger. And we're gonna spend our money. And we're gonna be arrested. And one more thing. We're not coming back to Yonkers until we've each kissed a girl.
Cornelius, you can't do that. You don't know any girls.
Well, I'm 33 years old. I've got to begin sometime.
Well, I'm only 17, Cornelius. It's not so urgent for me.
New York, Barnaby. Elevated trains. The lights of Broadway. The stuffed whale at Barnum's Museum. The stuffed whale? Stuffed whale. What do you say, Barnaby?
Yes, Cornelius. Yes!
Now, the first thing is to make you financially independent. I know, I'll find you a job. Can you dance?
Well, I'm an artist, Mrs. Levi. I paint.
Well then, my card.
Mrs. Dolly Levi. Painters taught how to dance.
Now, there's a man, Rudolph Reisenweber, at the Harmonia Gardens restaurant on 14th Street. I'll give you a note for him, and we'll see if he can't have you both entered in the poker competition tonight. The prize is a week's engagement and a gold cup. Oh, the cups we won, Ephraim and me.
Now hold on, Mrs. Levi. No fiancé of mine will step foot in a cafe. And I don't mind saying, I'm surprised you have acquaintances in a place like that.
Not acquaintances, Mr. Kemp. Friends. Dear friends of days gone by. My late husband, Ephraim Levi, believed in life any place you could find it. Be it cafes, ballrooms, yes, even theaters. Why, even when times were bad, every Saturday night, like clockwork, down those stairs at the Harmonia Gardens we came, Ephraim and me.
Well, it's all very well for it to come down like clockwork, Mrs. Levi. But you're asking Ermengarde to work there.
It's the only way to show Horace-Vandergelder that we mean business. Now you go to the Harmonia Gardens restaurant and you say that Mrs. Levi sent you. And incidentally, tell Rudolph that Dolly's coming back. And I want a table for 2 and a chicken for 8 o'clock tonight.
The bottom roll looks all right, Cornelius. Now hold it under the ones on top. Oh, not too close. They look like they're ready to burst. Holy Moses, I can smell them up in here.
Let's get dressed, Barnaby. We're going to New York. Out there's a world outside of Yonkers. Way out there beyond this hick town, Barnaby. There's a slick town, Barnaby. Out there, full of shine and full of sparkle. Close your eyes and see it glisten, Barnaby. Glisten, Barnaby. Sunday clothes, there's lots of world out there. Get out the brilliantine and dime cigars. We're gonna find adventure in the evening air. Girls in white and a perfume night where the lights are bright as the stars. Put on your Sunday clothes, we're gonna ride through town in one of those new horse-drawn open cars. We'll see the shows at Delmonico's and we'll close the town in a whirl, and we won't come home until we kiss the girl.
Put on your Sunday clothes when you feel down and out. Stroll down the street and have your picture took. Just like a dream, your spirit seemed to turn about. And Sunday shine is a certain sign that you feel as fine as you look. When you Paris, all the world is all a smile. It makes you feel brand new down to your toes. Get out your feathers, your patent leathers, your beads and bundles and bows. For there's no more Monday in your Sunday clothes.
Come on, Barnaby, we're going to New York. Elevated trains, Barnaby, the lights are roaring up nonsense. Stuff way like Barnaby's music. Wow, come on.
Put on your Sunday clothes when you feel down and out. Stroll down the street and have your picture took. Just like a dream, your spirit seems to turn about. That Sunday shine is a certain sign that you feel as fine as you look. Beneath your parasol, the world is all a smile. That makes you feel brand new down to your toes. Get out your feathers, your hats and leathers, your beads and buckles and bows. For there's no Monday in your Sunday clothes. Beneath your bowler brim, the world's a simple song. A lovely look that makes you tilt your nose. Get out your slickers, your flannel knickers, your red suspenders and hose. For there's no Monday in your Sunday clothes. Ermengarde, stop sniveling and high on the valise. We haven't missed the train yet, thank the Lord. Lovely, you're improving. Now get all 11 pieces. We're 7 minutes late. All aboard!
ranging between Mr. Horace Vandergelder, the well-known Yonkers half-a-millionaire, and my employer and friend, Mrs. Irene Malloy. Although, if you ask me, he'll never take the place of her late husband, Mr. Peter Malloy. May he rest in peace wherever he is. I'm not sure. He wasn't caution, you know. Oh, it's all too much. What with late husbands and new marriages and on top of everything else. Miss Mortimer returning this hat for the third time. Same old story. She wants more cherries and feathers. Cherries and feathers! To catch a bow, I suppose. Although, if you ask me, she'd do better with a nice heavy veil. I told her, ribbons down our back is what we'll be wearing this summer if we want to catch a gentleman's eye. But she'd have none of it. Cherries and feathers she wants. And on today of all days, when that poor, dear, sweet Mrs. Malloy has enough on her mind. What with?
With what, Minnie?
What? Oh, Mrs. Malloy, I could bite out my tongue for the things I'm going to say, but since I've gone this far, I might as well go all the way. Mrs. Malloy, why?
Say it, Minnie. Why have I decided to marry Horace Vandergelder?
Oh, Mrs. Malloy, I didn't ask you that. I'd rather die on the rug than ask you such a personal question. But as long as you did bring it up.
I am marrying Horace Vandergelder for one reason and one reason alone, Minnie. To get out of the millinery business. I hate hats.
Mrs. Malloy!
And I can no longer stand being suspected of being a wicked woman with absolutely nothing to show for it.
Oh, Mrs. Malloy!
Don't protest, Minnie. All millineresses are suspected of being wicked women. That's why I can't go into restaurants or balls or theaters. That's all the proof they need. Take my word for it, Minnie. Either I marry Horace Vandergelder, or I break out of this place like a fire engine. Oh, no, not Miss Mortimer again. Ugh.
Miss Mortimer, I'll take care of it.
No, Minnie. Leave it be. You can wear another hat for Miss Mortimer if you'd like. I'm going to wear this one myself.
Mrs. Malloy, you can't! You're a widow. And that hat, well, it's provocative, that's what.
Is it, Minnie? Well, who knows who may come into the shop today? And provocative may be just what I want to be.
Oh, Mrs. Malloy!
I'll be wearing ribbons down my back this summer. Blue and green and streaming in the yellow sky. So if someone special comes my way this summer, he might notice me passing by, and so I'll try to make it easier to find me in the stillness of July, so that a breeze might stir a rainbow behind me that might happen to catch a gentleman's eye, and he might smile and take me by the hand this summer, making me recall how lovely love can be. And so I will proudly wear ribbons down my back,
but I'm going to ask it anyhow. Do you love Horace Vandergelder?
Oh, no, Minnie, I don't. Peter Malloy, God rest him, was my share of love. And I'm not saying I was shortchanged. Once is enough for a woman, as long as it's true love. And it was that. Minnie, look, there's two men staring at the shop.
Men?
Why, I do believe they mean to come in here.
Men? In the shop! Oh, Mrs. Malloy, what shall we do?
Do? Why, we flirt with them, of course, and I'll let you take the short one.
Mrs. Malloy, and you with all your talk about love.
Love, I've had enough, Minnie. It's a bit of adventure we could do with now. We'll get them all heated up and then drop them cold. It'll be good practice for married life. Maybe go on into the shop, Minnie. I know some ways we can perk up our appearances. Besides, a good wave will only make them nervous and easier for us to...
You say vamp, I'll scream.
Vamp. Oh, Minnie, we'll get an adventure out of this yet.
We'll get an adventure out of this yet, Barnaby. All day long we wander around New York and nothing happens. And then we come to the quietest street in the city and suddenly it's...
Vandergelder.
Is he out there? Go look.
He's sitting right on my bench. Cornelius, are you sure this is an adventure?
You don't have to ask, Barnaby. When you're in one, you'll know it, all right? How much money have you got left?
Well, not much, Cornelius. Let's see. 40 cents for the train ride home, 30 cents for dinner, and 20 cents to see the whale. 90 cents. Why?
When those women come out, we'll have to pretend to be customers. Customers. That's it! Maybe the best thing to do is make them think we're rich. And then we won't have to spend anything. We're two men about town, looking for hats, for ladies. Good afternoon, Mrs.
Malloy.
Here, Cornelius Apple.
Here, Barnaby Tucker.
My pleasure, gentlemen. Now, what can I do for you?
Well,
We're hats.
you see, we're two ladies about town looking for some hats to wear.
And what am I looking to with?
We want a hat. For a lady, of course. And everybody said go to Mrs. Malloy because she's so pretty. I mean, her hats are so pretty.
And so reasonable, Cornelius. As reasonable as under $1, which still leave us enough to see the whale.
You've got to pay him no mind, ma'am. He's come all the way from Yonkers to see a stuffed whale, and he's all excited. You just watch the street, Barnaby. Maybe you'll see it pass by.
Is it big and black with me little red eyes? It's sitting right on that bench.
Excuse me, did you say Yonkers, Mr. Hackle?
Oh, why, yes, ma'am. Yonkers. Forgive me for saying this, but you should see Yonkers. By that, I mean, maybe Mr. Malloy would like to see Yonkers, too.
I'm a widow, Mr. Hackle.
You are? Barnaby, she's a widow! I mean, that's too bad. I'm sure Mr. Malloy would have enjoyed Yonkers, especially in that hat. I mean, on you, of course, not Mr. Malloy. May he rest in peace. You're Catholic, aren't you? Well, don't let that bother you. I'd be willing to change. Mrs. Malloy! If you should ever happen to have a Sunday free in the near future, I'd be more than pleased to show you Yonkers from top to bottom.
Well, as a matter of fact, Mr. Hackle, I might be in Yonkers sooner than you think.
Oh, really?
Yes. You see, I have a friend who lives in Yonkers.
Do you?
Perhaps you know him.
Well, perhaps we do.
Oh, but it's always foolish to ask in cases like this, isn't it? It's a Mr. Vandergelder.
Horace A lovely man, Mrs. Malloy, just lovely. Has only one fault as far as I know. He's hard as nails.
Cornelius, I think he's...
Well, perhaps your friend might like...
Look out! Beg your pardon, Mrs. Malloy.
Gentlemen, what are you doing?
Help us, Mrs. Malloy. We'll explain later.
Get out of there this instant!
We're innocent as can be, Miss Malloy.
Well, really? Mr. Hackle, Mr. Tucker, I insist that you get out here this instant or I'll be forced to call... Mr. Vandergelder!
Mrs. Malloy, I don't suppose Mrs. Levi is here, is she? She was supposed to meet me out on that bench 10 minutes ago. Well, she can just go looking for me when she comes. When I make an appointment, I expect people to be on time. Here, I brought you a present. Chocolate-covered peanuts. Unshelled. That's the expensive kind, you know. Say, can I just see you talking to two men in here?
Men? Men, Mr. Vandergelder, what would two men be doing in the ladies' hat shop? Now let's go back into my workroom. I'm just so anxious for you to see it.
Oh, I saw it last week.
So you did. Well, Mr. Vandergelder, what's new in the hay and feed business? I hear you have 3 friends, all hard as nails.
Wait,
I mean...
what on earth are you talking about?
Yonkers, Mr. Vandergelder. I hear it's a very beautiful city.
And who's been talking to you about Yonkers, may I ask?
Nobody. A friend.
What friend?
Well, you see, he came in...
He?
A customer, Mr. Vandergelder. Someone quite well-to-do, as a matter of fact, came in here buying hats for ladies. Perhaps you know him, although it's foolish to ask in cases like this. It's a Mr. Cornelius Hackle.
Did you say Hackle?
Why, yes.
Well, he happens to be my chief clerk, that's all, Mrs. Malloy. I demand an explanation.
I'm going to give it to you. Why shouldn't she know Cornelius Hackle? Everybody in New York knows Cornelius Hackle. He's here at the opera, in all the fashionable homes. Why, he's at the Harmonia Gardens restaurant 3 times a week.
Impossible. He's only got $146.35, and I keep it in my very own safe.
Oh, Mr. Vandergelder, you're killing me. He's one of the Hackles. They built the canal.
What canal?
You hear me? Both?
Well, he ain't the same man.
Well, who took the horses out of Jenny Lynn's carriage and pulled her through the streets? Cornelius Hackle. And who dressed up as a waiter at the 5th Avenue Hotel and dropped an oyster down Mrs. Astor's, I can't say it, but it was Cornelius. He's the playboy of New York. Now, Irene, don't deny it. I can see you were quite taken with him, just like everyone else.
Dolly, what are you saying?
Excuse me.
Of course.
Thank you.
Now look here, there's a man in that closet.
Mr. Vandergelder, you can't. It's too dangerous.
No man that hides in ladies' closets can scare me. Now stand aside, Mrs. Levi.
Man, indeed. You'd make short work of any man. Those muscles, I can see them now rippling back and forth under your coat. Ripple, 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 back and forth, ripple, ripple.
That's enough. Now stand aside, Mrs. Levi.
And indeed, that's exactly what the court will want to know when you're accused of entering that closet without a search warrant. I mean, what do you stand for? If you don't stand for the law of this great land, I know what I stand for. I stand for motherhood, America, and a hot lunch for orphans. Take off your hat, sir. Betsy Ross's flag is passing. Do you see him on the hill at Gettysburg? Lead that great triumphal arch. If you see him as he's tramping through the grapes of wrath, sing and march, march, march.
Wait a second, there's a man.
Has this not affected you, sir? I came here at 14 years of age as a young immigrant girl from a land that oppressed my people, and I must echo what was said by that great patriotic American, Moses. I stand for motherhood, America, and a hot lunch for orphans. Take off your hat, sir. There's a tear-stained eagle passing.
Aha!
And another under the table.
What the devil?
There also happens to be a perfectly simple explanation. But for the present, good day.
Good Lord, the whole room is crawling with men. I'll never get over it. I take it I'll see you this afternoon, Mr. Van Gelder.
Well, you certainly will, Mrs. Levi, with a certain young lady on the main float at the end of the parade. Good day, Mrs. Malloy.
Mrs. Malloy, I can explain everything. You see,
I do not wish to hear any explanations, Mr. Hackle. Just you and Mr. Tucker do me the pleasure of leaving my shop, or I will call for Officer Gogarty.
If you ask me, I read calling in officers, letting them off too easy. The law courts. That's where they belong. I've been adding up the offenses these two have committed, and believe me, you've got grounds for at least 2 writs, a non-compos mentis, and a garnishee. Now, the main thing is to show that you tried to settle it amicably first. Have dinner with them.
Dinner?
Is that really necessary, Dolly?
It's the way things are done in the law, Irene. Dinner first, garnishee afterwards.
Well, if it must be. Mr. Hackle, Mr. Tucker, you may take Miss Fay and I to dinner.
Delighted, Mrs. Malloy. I speak for Barnaby, too. And now I hear there's a very nice restaurant in the railroad station.
Oh, no, Mr. Hackle. If Harmonia Gardens is good enough for you and your fine friends, it's good enough for us. I hear they have a lovely orchestra there, Minnie.
We couldn't go there, Mrs. Malloy. Now, don't misunderstand me. It isn't the money or anything. It's just, it's the whale. It's the whale. No, Barnaby, it isn't the whale. It's the dancing. Yes, you see, they have dancing in a place like that. Exhibitions, contests, and I don't know how, and it would take me weeks, months, years to learn, and Mrs. Dolly Levi, 33-year-old chief clerk's taught how to dance.
Now it's simple. You put one on here, and one on here, and then...
It's no use. I absolutely have no sense of rhythm.
Absolutely no sense of rhythm is one of the primary requirements for learning by the Gallagher-Levi method. Just give me 5 minutes of your time, Mr. Hackle, and I'll have you dancing in the streets. We'll start with lesson 7, the waltz kick turn. It's simple. Right foot touch, left foot touch, under, back, around, touch, back through, around, behind, out, over, release, unfurl. Wonderful! What lucky women will find heaven in your arms. Let's go back to lesson 1. Put your hand on her waist and stand with her right in your left hand. And 1, 2, 3. This one. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3.
Look! I'm dancing! Well, I was.
Of course you were, Mr. Hackle.
Someone whose arms you're in, hold on to her tight and spin. And 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3.
Wow! I'm dancing!
Turn around and turn around, try floating through the air. Can't you be a little more aesthetic?
Don't you think my dancing has a polish and a flair?
The word I think I use is athletic.
Oh, my heart is about to burst. My head is about to pop. And now that I'm dancing, who cares if I ever stop? Look at me, everybody! I'm Cornelius Handlesport and dancing!
You're next, Mr. Tucker.
Stand aside!
He's dancing!
You can act your polka if you want to equal show, or a tango with the passion sing.
I might join that chorus of the Castle Garden show.
Whatever you do, for gosh sake, keep breathing.
For my heart is about to burst. My head is about to pop.
And now that we're dancing, who cares if we ever stop?
When there's someone I know and wish wasn't
Remember that he can be near to you while you're dancing. As
my back, aches in my side, stabs in my liver. I'm fine. My daughter Fanny got married, you know.
Did she?
A year ago last September. It's been a long time since you lived here, Mrs. Levi. Such a long, long time.
Ephraim, let me go. It's been long enough, Ephraim. Every night for all these years, I put out the cat, locked the door, made myself a little rum toddy, and said a prayer thanking God that I was independent, that nobody else's life was mixed up with mine. And then one night an oak leaf fell out of my Bible. I placed it there when you asked me to marry you, Ephraim. A perfectly good oak leaf, but without color and without life. And suddenly I realized that I was that oak leaf, that for years I hadn't shed one tear, nor had I been filled with the wonderful hope that something or other would turn out well. And so I've decided to rejoin the human race. And Ephraim, I want you to give me away. Before the parade passes by, I've got to get in step while there's still time left. Before the parade passes by.
Mrs. Levi, come along. Cornelius is taking us to see the 14th Street Parade. Everyone will be watching.
Why, Irene, you're crying.
Oh, Dolly, the world is full of wonderful things. Come with us, Dolly.
I will, Irene. I will. Before the parade passes by, I've got to go and taste Saturday's high life. Before the parade passes by, I've got to get some life back into my life. I'm ready to move out in front. I've had enough of just passing by life. The rest of them, with the best of them, I can hold my head up high. For I gotta go again, I gotta drive again. I wanna feel my heart coming alive again. Before the parade passes by. Look at that crowd up ahead. Listen and hear that brass harmony growing. Look at that crowd up ahead. Pardon me if my old spirit is showing. All those lights over there seem to be telling me where I'm going. The whistles blow and the cymbals crash and the sparklers light the sky. I'm gonna raise the roof, I'm gonna carry on, give me an all
Mrs. Levi! Mrs. Levi, she's beautiful. She's everything you said and more. Miss Money, stay right there. I'm coming. I'm on my way. Hey, you. Hey, wait a minute. That's my fiancée. Hey, what are you doing? Hey, pickpocket. Thief. Hey, you might pay for that girl. I want every part of her. Miss Money, what have they done to you? Mrs. Levi, what is the meaning of this?
Nothing to get upset about, Horace. A last-minute substitution. Miss Money was needed for a sudden urgent business appointment at the Mint. They ran a little short and she's helping out. But she'll meet you at the Harmonia Gardens restaurant at 8 o'clock tonight.
Well, that's the most expensive restaurant in the city!
And when it should be! What food! And the fastest waiters in New York. By the way, I might be a little late. So Miss Money will meet you in front of the restaurant. Wait till you see her, Horace. All in buttercup yellow with baby pink shoes, humming an old-fashioned tune, Sweet Rosie O'Grady. You couldn't miss her if you tried.
Well, all right. But only because I already paid for the introduction and I might as well get my money's worth. But Dolly Gallagher, from here on, you are hereby discharged as my marriage broker. Is that clear? From now on, Dolly, you're just the same as every other woman. Wait, where are you taking me? Hey, you, where are we going? Hey, I'm on this thing. Hey, let me off. Where are we going?
Ephraim, he's as good as mine. I'm gonna raise the roof. I'm gonna carry on. Give me an old trombone. Give me that old baton.
We've just loved looking at the lights of 14th Street for the past 4 hours. But now perhaps you better call it hack or we won't get to Harmonia Gardens on time. Oh, look, there's one. Yoo-hoo!
We couldn't do that, Mrs. Malloy. It isn't the money or anything. It's just that nowadays, really elegant people never take the hacks.
Hacks is hacked.
They all go by streetcar.
J.P. Vanderbilt? The time with Jim Morgan?
Well, then by all means, a streetcar.
Oh, imagine! Just think, all my life I've been elegant and never even knew it.
Of course, walk.
Yes, New York, it's really us, Barnaby and Cornelius.
All the guests of Mr. Hackle are feeling great and look spectacular.
What a knack there is to that, acting like a boy aristocrat. We got elegance. If you ain't got elegance, you can never, ever carry it on. All who are well-bred agree Mindy Fay has pedigree.
Exercise your wildest whims tonight. We are diamond gems tonight.
Could they be misleading us?
Silver spoons were used for feeding us. We got elegance. If you ain't got elegance, you can never, ever carry it on. Middle class, don't speak of it, savoir-faire. We're ignorant, some were born with rags and patches, but we use dollar bills for matches and
Their builds kowtows to us.
J.P. Morgan screams and bows to us. We got elegance, we were born with elegance.
Have you noticed when I hold my cup, the saucer never moves?
In the way I keep my pinky out, you can do it till it moves.
We got elegance, we got built in elegance, and with elegance, we'll carry it on. We got elegance. If you ain't got elegance, you can never, ever carry it off. We got elegance. We got elegance.
Oh, look, Minnie, they're counting their money again. Isn't that just like the rich? Well, gentlemen, aren't you going to escort us in?
Of course we are, Mrs. Malloy. Barnaby. Mrs. Malloy?
Yes, Mr. Hackle?
Mrs. Malloy, as we go inside,
Yes, Mr. Hackle?
may I put my arm around your waist?
Yes, Mr. Hackle. But I might as well warn you, a corset is a corset.
I don't want to be on the stage. I just want to get married.
You heard Mrs. Levi. This is the only way to show your uncle that we mean business. Now, can you weep a little faster? You're throwing me off step. Faster. That's it.
my order as head waiter of the Harmonia Gardens from your supreme commander that tonight, of all nights, our usual lightning service will be twice as lightning as ever. All else. I trust you will find this table satisfactory, sir. The private dining rooms cost a bit more, but they do afford the best view of the entertainment.
$1.40, Cornelius. That's all that's left. Are you sure? Count it again.
Prepare yourself for a big night, Minnie. We're out with two of New York's best known sports.
I didn't make a mistake, Cornelius. It's only $1.35. I'll count it once more.
No, don't. We can't afford it.
I'm going to order everything on the menu. Later.
I have told you before, sir, you cannot sit here. This table is reserved for Mrs. Levi and Pot.
And who do you think I am? Only a Taurus Vandergelder in party. She's in my party, and I am not in hers.
Mr. Vandergelder, of course. Mrs. Levi mentioned nothing of you bringing your...
My personal physician. That's enough rouge, doctor.
But Mrs. Levi only ordered a chicken for two.
Chicken? Chickens are dear.
And pâté maison, soup du jour, and pommes frites.
Why didn't you tell me this was an Oriental establishment? We'll take 2 bowls of rice. Now get out of here. Now, Miss Money, I understand you carry respectable sums in your belt.
Yeah, I got $2. Only it's in my garter.
Cornelius, but Minnie and I don't care who sees us tonight. Well, Minnie, what have you decided?
Well, I couldn't have anything at these prices. I really couldn't.
Great grindstones! What a sensible girl! Waiter, bring us 4 glasses of beer, a loaf of yesterday's bread, and some cheese.
Oh, yesterday's bread, Cornelius. Now I know how you keep half of New York in stitches all the time. Minnie, have you ever eaten pheasant?
Oh, pheasant?
Say, what's with the napkin? You ashamed of something?
No, it's not that. I felt a slight chill.
Why didn't you say so? Here, I'll loan you this. Now do it up in the hole until the rice comes. Waiter! Would you bring us some roast suckling pig, chestnut and oyster stuffing, cheese fondue, and some lady fingers? Now, what do you have?
the pheasants are fresh. We'll take 4, please, and a nice red wine.
Wait a minute! No wine.
No wine?
Champagne.
Champagne!
It's a once-in-a-lifetime, Barnaby. Champagne. And, Neapolitan ice cream. And hothouse peaches. And Barnaby, give the band a nickel and tell them to play To a Wild Rose. We'd like music while we dine.
Say, this is a cafe, isn't it? Let's dance.
The Vanderkillers do not dance, Miss Money. We're Presbyterian.
All right, I'll dance myself. Give them $2 for the band leader, will ya? And tell them to play something refined. I want to do the hoochie coochie.
Right, Cornelius. I'll send for the band leader, but promise not to order anything else.
You wait here, Miss Money. I'll tell them to play a nice waltz. Here, you. Give this to the band leader and tell him to play a waltz.
Here's a nickel for the band leader. Could you tell him to play a...
Miss Money!
And, 2 more pheasants, please.
Cornelius!
Wait a minute, my purse.
My wallet.
Here, you. That's my purse.
Excuse me.
Miss Money!
That's my wallet. I know it's mine because there's nothing in it but $1, 3 dimes, 5 pennies, and a... Cornelius! Did you say 2 pheasants? Make it 3, 4 pheasants on the house! And I don't care if I don't see the whale. I'm gonna buy one of my own! Sir! Sir!
What's this? Shouting? How many times have I told you not to shout here, boy? This is a Harmonia Gardens, not...
Oh, but sir, she's here, the lady.
Are you sure, boy?
Just like you said, sir. 8 o'clock on the nose, up pulls this carriage, and up steps this lady with red hair.
It's she! Mrs. Levi! She's back! Oh, Lord! Is it true? I heard the laughing from the kitchen window and it sounded... It is! It's Dolly! Please, tell the man! She just stepped out of the carriage!
It's true, no?
Yeah, she just stepped out of a white and gold carriage, pulled by 6 black horses with scarlet plumes!
Oh, Rudolph, it's like old times again.
Sir! Sir! Hurry! She's here!
Swing for the bands, play one of my old favorite songs from way back when. So bridge that gap, fellas, find me an empty lap, fellas, don't you never go away again.
excuse me, girlie. Dolly? Dolly Gallagher? What on earth are you doing in that getup? And you're a half an hour late, and you owe me an explanation of that.
Ernestina.
Exactly.
Ernestina, whom I trusted.
She wanted to do the hoochie coochie.
Well, she always was artistic. Horace, I'm going to have our table moved right down front. There's someone in the dance competition I particularly want you to see.
Now, don't let's say another word about it. I'm as shocked as you are. I can't eat a thing. What have you ordered?
She wanted a chicken. Now see here, Dolly, about that hoochie coochie,
Did you
girl.
say chicken? I don't think I could face a chicken. Not a chicken. Not today. Not after what's happened.
Good, then cancel the chicken.
And bring a turkey.
What are you doing now?
Nothing. Just looking the place over. Getting acquainted with the surroundings.
That's the problem with you, Dolly. Always wanting to know everything, always sticking your nose into other people's affairs. Anybody who married you would get as nervous as a cat.
What? What's that you're saying?
I said anybody who married you would get as nervous as a
Horace,
cat.
can I go get that idea out of your head this instant? I'm surprised you even mentioned such a thing. Understand once and for all, I have no intention of marrying you.
Well, I didn't mean that.
I certainly do hope not. Horace Van Gelder, you go your way, and I'll go mine. I'm not some Irene Malloy whose head can be turned by a few chocolate-covered peanuts unshelled. Why, the idea of you even suggesting such a thing.
Wait, Mrs. Levi, you misunderstood me.
I certainly do hope not. But if I were to marry again, it would be to a far more pleasure-loving man than you.
Well,
however, we won't discuss it anymore. Here's the way it is with our food. Also, Mr. Van Gelder, lead off. Here's some white meat for you. Dumplings. Ooh, light of the air they are. And giblets. Very tender and very good for you. No, Horace. As I said before, you go your way and I'll go mine. We'll start riding on the wine. I think you'll be better at once. However, since you brought the matter up, there's one more thing I think I'm going to say.
Well, I didn't bring the matter up at all.
One more thing I think I'm going to say before we forget all about it. It's true, I'm a woman who likes to know what's going on, who likes to manage things, but I wouldn't like to manage anything as out of control as your household. You'll have to do that yourself, God helping you.
It's not out of control.
Very well, let's not say another word about it. Ooh, have some beets, Horace, they're good.
Well, I don't like beets.
That's good. No, Horace, a complaining, quarrels, a friendless soul like you is no sort of companion for me. You solve your beets, and I'll solve mine.
Please stop saying that.
I won't say another word.
Good.
Except this. At your age, Horace, you should enjoy hearing the honest truth.
My age. My age. You're always talking about my age.
I don't know what your age is, but I do know that up in Yonkers, with bad food and bad temper, you'll double it in 6 months. Add some more beets, Horace. They're good.
I don't like beets. I hate beets.
That's nice. Now dig right in. The pity of it is that you could be a perfectly charming, witty, amiable man if you wanted to be.
I don't want to be charming.
But you are. Look at you. You can't help it. Now sit down, Horace, and let's talk of something else. But before we change the subject, there's one more thing I think I'm going to say.
Well, I don't want to hear it. If you're wasting your time, Dolly Levi, I will not ask you to marry me.
I suppose that means you want me to ask you. Well, I'm sorry, Horace. I'm turning you down.
How can you turn me down if I haven't asked you anything?
It's no use arguing. I've made up your mind. Here, let me cut your wings.
That's it. I'm going back to the hotel. I've got a headache.
You can't go now. The competition's about to begin.
Here's some money for dinner. Here's $20. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. There's nothing in here but a dollar, 3 dimes, 5 pennies, and a button. This isn't my purse. I've lost my purse.
Barnaby, that purse you found?
Impossible. I can't imagine you without your purse.
It's Vander Gelder's. We better get out of here.
They don't know me here. I've never been here before. Stop eating that turkey. I can't pay for it.
Horace, it's the latest thing of polka. There's one dancer in the competition I particularly want you to see. Rudolph, move our table right down front so Mr. Vanderbilt can
better observe his graceful movements.
That man there, that dancer!
Isn't he wonderful? With talent like that, he's sure to win the solid gold cup.
Come along, Mrs. Malloy. It's been a perfectly wonderful evening, but I'm afraid we're going to have to cut it a bit. Excuse me, short.
Minnie? A polka? Cornelius, they simply must have one dance.
The paper gapper's right over there. We gotta go.
We will go. We'll dance our way out.
That's better. Now, you have all been charged with disturbing the peace, inciting to riot, destruction of public property, and several other very serious crimes against the law of this great city. Is there anyone here to speak on your behalf? I said, is there anyone here to speak on your behalf? Mrs. Dolly Levi, Counselor at Law.
Your Honor, the defense rests. No need to call witnesses, ladies and gentlemen, when I see upon that bench a brow that gleams with honor, a pair of snow-white whiskers that bristle with fair play, and a nose. I ask you to look at that nose, ladies and gentlemen. A nose that shines in the night like a flaming beacon of justice. Your Honor, would you turn that way a bit so we can get a better look at your beacon? A you repeat that again, dear?
Begging your pardon, Mrs. Levi, but if it please the court, I have something to say.
I was just about to call on you, Mr. Hackle. Go right ahead.
Cornelius Hackle, if you dare testify against me, you'll be discharged.
Well, you've already done that, Mr. Vandergelder.
Well, I'll do it again.
Well, you've done it again, too. But even if you hadn't, I'd still say what I have to say. I don't know anything about disturbing the peace or inciting to riot. But what I do know, which is the most important thing that can happen to a man, happened to me today. And it never would have happened if I'd obeyed your orders and stayed in Yonkers, New York. Your Honor, I'm talking about none other than love.
What? You mean to tell me that after 33 years you've fallen in love because you've taken one evening off?
Oh no, Mr. Vandergelder. I didn't fall in love with Mrs. Irene Malloy of this city in just an evening. An hour. But no, even that's too long. What's less than a minute?
A second.
Less than that.
A moment.
That's it. I'll go slowly, so you can get it all down. It only takes a moment for your eyes to meet, and then your heart knows in a moment you may never be alone again. I held her for an instant, but my arms felt sure and strong. It only takes a moment to be loved a whole life long. Isn't the world full of wonderful things? There I sat, cooped up in Yonkers for years and years. And all the time, wonderful people like Mrs. Malloy were walking around in New York, and I didn't know them at all. I don't know if you can all see from where you're sitting. Well, for instance, the way her eye and her forehead and her cheek come together up here. Can you? I'll tell you right now. A fine woman is the greatest work of God on earth. And you can talk all you like about Niagara Falls and the pyramids, but they aren't in it at all. Of course, I've seen women before. But today, I talked to one. Equal to equal. And they're so different from men. And they're awful mysterious, too. I'll bet you could know a woman 100 years and never really be sure whether or not she liked you. Today, I lost so many things. My job, my future, everything that people think is important. But I don't care. Because even if I have to dig ditches for the rest of my life, I will be a ditch digger who once had a wonderful day.
I missed a few words back there, Mr. Hackle.
right after it only.
Takes a woman, but his arms now stood and strong. It only takes a woman.
He held me for an instant, but his arms felt safe and strong. It only takes a moment to
That is all that love's about.
And you recall when time runs out,
That it only took a moment to be loved, a whole life long.
Dismissed. Dismissed. All dismissed. All except Horace Vandergelder of Yonkers, New York. Dismissed. You're free. You're free. Bless you, my children. Go. Go.
You can see the president now, Mrs. Levi.
Well, Horace, there's your life. Without meat, without clerks, without bride, and without your purse. It looks like there's only one thing left to say.
Well, if it's to ask me to marry you, Dolly, never. Under no circumstances will I ever marry you.
That wasn't it at all, Horace. All I wanted to say was, goodbye.
What?
Goodbye.
Wait a second, Dolly.
It's too late, Horace. I failed. And when a woman fails, there's nothing left for her to say.
Wait.
But,
Hey.
goodbye. 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 Don't try to stop me, Horace, please.
choo-choo calling me on to a fancy new address. Yes, I can hear that choo-choo calling me on for the Happiness Express. I'm gonna learn the hoochie-coochie, smoke a cigarette. I'm gonna start away from Yonkers as a girl can get. And on those cold winter nights, Horace, you can snuggle up to your cash register. It's a little lumpy, but it rings. Come a knocking on your door and singing that song that says, you dog, I told you so. So you will find your life a sad old story when you see the Dolly shuffle off to glory. Oh, I should have said so long ago.
Dolly, I wouldn't marry you if you asked me 1,000,000 times. Not if you were the last woman on earth. I didn't need you before and I don't need you now. You go your way and I'll go mine. Dolly! Dolly? Oh, Dolly.
You stamped, Mr. Vandergelder?
Oh, it's you, Cornelius Hackle, come crawling back after me.
Oh, no, Mr. Vandergelder. I just stopped by for my $146.35. You see, I've decided to go into business for myself. And since the only business I know is hay and feed, I'm opening my own store.
And Cornelius has found the perfect location, Mr. Vandergelder. Right across the street from you.
So you think you can compete with the Vandergelders, do you? Well, just you try and see. Oh, another one come crawling back. Hello, what do you want?
My back salary for the last 4 months. $6.12.
Well, you can't do this to me. None of you can. I'll go to the courts. I'll get lawyers.
Why, Horace Vandergelder, as I live and breathe, that you don't look handsome in that outfit. So few men nowadays have the courage to wear aubergine.
Dolly Gallagher?
I know what you're going to say, Horace. You're not satisfied with Ernestina. But don't you worry, I found you another girl, the ideal wife. But don't let me interrupt you. You were doing something. What were you doing?
Getting Cornelius's money, Dolly. $146.
And 35 cents.
And $6.12 of mine.
And the money my mama left me. $52.48.
38 cents.
48.
Well, all right. All right, well, if it's the money you want, then it's upstairs in the safe. $52. 38 cents. Half frozen pepper.
Exactly 12 cents.
Money, Mr. Vandergelder's money. It's like a sun we walk under. It can kill or cure. Vandergelder's never tired of saying that the world is full of fools. And in a way, he's right, isn't he? Himself, Irene, Cornelius, myself. Yes. We are all fools. And we're all in danger of destroying the world with our folly. But the surest way to keep us out of harm's way is to give us the 4 or 5 human pleasures that are our right in the world. And that takes a little money. The difference between a little money and no money at all is enormous and can shatter the world. And the difference between a little money and an enormous amount of money is very slight.
And that can shatter the world too. It's all in how you use it. As my late husband, Ephraim Levi, always said, money, pardon the expression, is like manure. It's not worth a thing unless it's spread around, encouraging young things to grow. Anyhow, that's the opinion of the second Mrs. Vandergelder. Which reminds me, Ephraim, I'm ready for that sign.
Don't just stand there, that comes upstairs.
Well, Horace, as I said before, I've found you the ideal wife.
Well, I don't want you to find me no ideal wives, Dolly. If I want an ideal wife, well, I'll find one on my own. And I found her. And it's you. Damn it. Dolly, I know I've been a fool about Mrs. Malloy and that other woman. Dolly, forgive me and marry me.
Horace, stop right there.
What do you mean?
You know as well as I do that you're the first citizen of Yonkers, and your wife would have to be a somebody. Answer me. Am I a somebody?
Oh, you are a wonderful woman!
Oh, you're partial. No, Horace, it wouldn't be enough for you to load your wife with money and jewels and insist she be a benefactress to half the town. By the way, it's bad business letting Cornelius open up a store across the street from you. You better take him back and let him be your partner.
Your partner?
And Barnaby can have Cornelius' old child.
Now, see here,
In fact,
Dolly.
we can all be together and dance at everyone's wedding.
Well, that's it. You've gone too far. I'll dance at no weddings. Besides, I don't know how. It would take me weeks, months, years even for a guy like me to learn. Oh, all right. I'll dance.
Horace, I never thought I'd hear you say a thing like that.
The front room, you idiot! What are you waiting for?
Horace Vandergelder, what is going on up there?
Oh, nothing. I just thought I'd have that front room done over in blue wallpaper.
Horace!
I know the old paper ain't worn out yet, but that fellow's just set up in business and he needs a good start. You see, Dolly, I've always thought that, well, pardon the expression, that money's like manure. It's not worth a thing unless it's spread around.
Thank you, Ephraim.
Hello, Tom. Well, hello, Tom. It's so nice to have you here where you belong. I never knew, Tom, without you, Tom, life was all